Okay, here's just a recap of what I showed you briefly at the end of today's lesson, and that is to make your terrain tile at the bottom of your Angry Bird game. You want to be able to stretch it out and have it be a repeating tile. So we want to be able to have an interesting pattern and texture, but then when we stretch the rectangle, it repeats without an obvious seam. So a seamless or tileable texture. So something like this, you could look at things for inspiration. You can even embed objects in the terrain. Let's just start off with a 512 by 512 pixel image, and I'm in Photoshop, and I'm just going to make maybe a wavy line where the grass is, and I just want to show you what we talked about earlier, and that is not to use the fill tool because we have a bit where it really doesn't look very great. Certainly you could just go back to the brush tool and fix that, or you could just use your paintbrush for everything, which is what I would actually prefer. And let's get straight to the technique to make it tileable so that it's a seamless texture. So if we go to Filter, Other, Offset, drag that to there, and let's just bring this to the left a little bit. And we can see actually if it was on 0, which was the original setting, there's our original drawing. If I then offset it a little bit, you can see right there is where the right hand side, which is this side, the right hand side meets the left hand side, and it looks terrible. So I'm going to press OK there and press B for my paintbrush, and I just want to make sure I'm doing this carefully. I'm just going to bring this in here, make that look nice, and then while I'm at it I can see if it's got enough variety. Maybe I'll make my brush a little bit smaller and put a little bit more variety into it. And you really you won't know if it's going to look great until you actually start building your level, and then of course you can always go back and edit the tile to make it look better later. Okay, let's just finish off by adding some sort of a gray texture at the bottom. And again, you can see it doesn't look great where the seam meets, so instead of doing that, what we could do is use something like the quick selection tool. Actually, let's use the magic wand tool. Select the white, and I'm just going to go over here to select and modify. Actually, yeah, let's just expand it by 1 pixel. Bring it in a little bit, and then give it that fill of gray, which is Alt backspace. And now I'm going to go back here and maybe draw some rocks or something. So get my brush, get a lighter gray. Okay, and I'm staying away from the edge on purpose, and you'll see why. Okay, maybe something like that. And I do want to not have them like this with a gray border all the way around, because when I repeat it, it'll look like a repeating dark gray rectangle, or square I should say, filled with a few rocks. So I want to have some rocks that go over the seam. Okay, maybe I even have a skull or something buried in the ground, which would be kind of neat. Something a bit spooky. Okay. Maybe it looks like a skull, but it's not really sure. Okay. Okay, and maybe there's one more, but we'll do that in a second. So we'll go over here, Filter, Other, Offset, and let's bring this offset back. There's what we just did. Now if we bring this over so we can actually look at the bit. Sorry, it's just jumping around. My computer's a little bit slow right now. There we go. Press off OK there. And now I can do something in this area where the seam was a second ago. So I'll get my grey color, which is, incidentally, I've got the brush tool selected and I press Alt and just that automatically turns it into the eye picker tool, the eyedropper. Pick that color, square brackets for my brush size. Okay, maybe this joins in with this one, maybe. And, you know, I can have something going off the bottom here, that's okay. I'm not going to be tiling it up and down vertically. Maybe I want to do something interesting here, just another little trick, and that is to use the, where is it? Oh my goodness, the dodge tool's moved from when I used to see it. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, I found it. It's hiding down here. This one right under the magnifying glass. If I click on that, hold it down, and then you can see down here I've got the burn tool and the dodge tool. So the dodge will make anything that I'm painting lighter, burn will make it slightly darker, usually used in photography. So let's just see if I can burn a little bit of darkness there if I like it. If I don't, I'll keep it out. I think what I'm going to do is undo that. And now I'm going to select the green first with the magic wand tool. So magic wand, select the green. Now I'm going to go get that burn tool right here, and then just, whoops, I meant to reverse the selection, select inverse, and just give it a little bit of a darker gray right there. Okay, and then we can also use the, let's go there again, hold it down, choose the dodge tool, and let's invert, select inverse, and we can just make the top of the grass a bit lighter. And of course you can paint as much detail as you want into the ground there. Let's deselect that. If you wanted to, you could also apply a layer on top of that. For example, get a new layer going here, press G for gradient, change it from the paint bucket tool back to the gradient tool, go up here and click on this, and I think we'll go for the basics, this middle one here. Press OK, and then get our foreground color. Let's just get like a dark purple or something a bit moody, like that. Okay, and now I'm just going to use a gradient from here up to about there. Let's make it a bit darker. Okay, and now we can just play around with that layers blend mode and just see if there's anything that looks interesting. Overlay works. Okay, it doesn't affect the light as much as the dark. That's kind of what I'd like. Okay, and now I'm just going to flatten this. And just to prove that it's seamless, we're going to go back to Filter, Other, Offset, and we got a bit of a problem there. You can see where I did the shadow and the light effects. It revealed a little bit of a seam. Let's try to get that in the middle where I can work on it. There we go, press OK. And now I can zoom in on this, and I can use a couple different ways I can do this. I could use the blur tool to blur this a little bit, or I can use the smudge tool if that's not working. Just smudge that a little bit. Increase the size of up here. Do something like that. And of course you can just go ahead and paint just directly on with colors, solid colors. If you do this blurring and it doesn't look right. Okay. But sometimes it works. It's a fast, easy effect. Okay, so let's just look at this. And one more time. Filter, other, offset, and just offset it a few times to see if everything looks okay. Now this is a very quick example, but of course your terrain could look a lot more interesting. Alright, so once you're done with that, you can use that for your terrain tile in the Angry Bird tutorial from today. Good luck.